Heyo neighbors, this is Music Festivals Podcast, the show that helps you get to know popular concert venues and music festivals before you go. I'm your host, Neighbor Nate, and I'm glad you're in the neighborhood. Heyo neighbors, welcome back to another episode of the Music Festivals Podcast. This is the show that helps you get to know music festivals and festival venues before you go. And as always, I am your host, Neighbor Nate. We are on season 1, episode number 11, and this is part 2 of the recap of Billy Strings Renewal that was out in Buena Vista, Colorado. We're going to get to a lot of great videos and footage here in just a moment. But first, let's talk about this week's music festival news. So there's been a lot of weather recently in the Carolinas and more recently in Florida. And like a lot of the musicians do, they immediately spring up and want to do a benefit to help all the poor people out who really were in the midst of that storm. And so that's what this is. Concert for Carolina is going to happen on Saturday, October 26th at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. You can see the names. Our friend Billy Strings is going to play. James Taylor is an interesting addition to this one. Never thought I would see Billy Strings and James Taylor play the same show. Sheryl Crow as well, Keith Urban, just a really interesting lineup that hopefully is going to get a broad base of people who want to buy tickets to this. Tickets are incredibly expensive. They're running between $13.99 and $15.99 for the very few seats that you can still get to this concert. And all the proceeds are going to benefit hurricane relief efforts for Helene in the Carolinas, and in particular Asheville, because I believe that was the most hard hit area for that storm. You can also, if you're not going to make it down to the Carolinas to see this, you can also stream this on nugs.net. And as I go to festivals, I'm always blown away at the amount of people that do not know about nugs.net. So this has become my mainstay music source. I listen to Nugs every single day because I can follow live tours. You get everybody from Billy Strings to Dead and Company to Pearl Jam. It's just a really, really great platform. And they have a 7-day free trial. So if you've not heard of nugs.net yet, go ahead and give it a try. 7-day free trial, you can't lose. The base price starts at $14.99 per month. It goes up from there if you want the hi-fi streaming, which I actually have and I love. But check out nugs.net. This is where you're going to be able to stream the concert for Carolinas. You can buy it as a one-off show. It's a double night show, so it's probably going to be somewhere between $50 and $100. Or you can go ahead and subscribe and probably get it that way. But I'm a big fan of Nugs, learned about it a couple years ago and have been hooked ever since. Moving on to the next piece of news, we've been doing a lot on the vacation festivals recently, the island festivals, if you will, or destination festivals. Dark Star Orchestra just released information on their festival. So this is Dark Star's Jamaican 25 Jam in the Sand, and I believe that's a Roman numeral 12. So this sounds like it's the 12th version of this. Dark Star is doing 4 shows. This is going to take place January 14th through the 17th in 2025. You're also going to see Melvin Seals and JBG with special guest Jennifer Hartswick. They're going to do 2 shows. Amber Osborne and Jackie Green are also going to do 2 shows. And what's fascinating about this one is they go a little bit farther, right? So there's all these activities that are going on. And so you can see there's going to be an organized drum circle. That would be fun on the beach. Cornhole tournaments, even tie-dyeing on the beach, and even a Jamaican mixology class, which would be a lot of fun to try out. So if you do have the budget for this and you're looking to go, triple occupancy is going to run you $21.29 plus a fee of about $300 for that. One of the resorts is already sold out. These are expensive. Again, these are super expensive festivals to go to, but they look like a lot of fun. So give a hoot to that one and check it out. I do want to mention this. So I am heading to Pelham, Tennessee, or Grundy County, Tennessee, to the Caverns for Sunday. K-Fest is going on right now. So K-Fest starts today. The shows start in the afternoon. I'm going to miss all of Saturday's shows. I've got family commitments that I just cannot miss. But then I'm going to be driving down and be there all day Sunday. And I do want to give thanks to Todd Mayo and his staff down there. I recently met Jeff as well. But this is going to be the first larger festival that I actually have media access to. So that's cool because that's going to give me a little bit better angles and shots and things like that. Excited to go down there. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up is that Todd actually is now an author, right? So Todd released the Caveman Chronicles. You can get it on Amazon, and it really is basically like the story behind his vision. And the few times I've met Todd, that was what struck me about him, is he really is a visionary type of guy, right? Like comes up with these ideas that seem next to impossible, and yet today we're looking at the caverns where there's music in a cave, and that's all because Todd had the idea and went for it. I'm going to read this book on the way down. I do audiobooks in my car, but this is definitely on my radar. If you want to find out more about how the caverns in Grundy County, Tennessee came together, go ahead and check out this book on Amazon. Fairly cheap prices there. But I'm excited to get to K-Fest this weekend. So that is music festival news for this week. If you're listening to the audio show on your favorite podcast app, make sure that you head on over to the YouTube channel, because it really is a YouTube first show, right? This is all about the being at the site, being at the festival, showing people what it's like. So check out the YouTube channel and make sure to subscribe there. Also the Facebook page. I do share a lot of videos on the Facebook page, but I tend to mix it up a little bit because some videos are better for some formats and vice versa. You can join the neighborhood at musicfestivalspodcast.com to get on the official email newsletter list. And that's going to give you a lot of links to just about everything that we're doing. And that launches this month. I'm actually in process of getting that together to launch hopefully in about mid-month. Check out the Facebook page, mention that. Follow me on Instagram. If you ever have any feedback for the show, send me a private message on Instagram. I am at Neighbor Nate Fests. That's Neighbor Nate with an N8. And I can't fit everything into these episodes, because when you're on site for like 3 or 4 days at a festival, you get so much video and so much great stuff that it just simply doesn't fit into a 20 to 30 minute internet news show. So as of November 2024, I am looking at launching the VIP Neighbors Club. That's going to be for premium content. So that's going to be a lot of the footage, a lot of the stuff that's great stuff that doesn't make this show. If you want to see that, go ahead and first sign up for the neighborhood. And then there'll be some messaging coming out for the premium membership site. That's probably going to be a few dollars a month, nothing to break your bank. So make sure you're paying attention to all that. I want to jump right into going back to Renewal. So Cottonwood Meadows, again, Buena Vista, Colorado, is arguably, definitely the most beautiful venue that I've been to. Some of that was there that we were there during the fall leaf change. But I did want to show you exactly what that looks like. And so let's go ahead and take a peek. Okay, so I'm now just figuring out how lucky I am, because this is where I ended up camping. I am right across where that little stream goes, on the other side where it says car camping. And there's an island directly in front of me that's in the lake. So we're by the lake. There's people camped on the island, and there's a big fire pit over there. So I'm sure there'll be people hanging out over there later this evening, which will be interesting. I'm right next to the family camping zone, so that's what's over there in the trees. So that's Harvest Moon. The yoga beach then is not too far up the way, so there's going to be a big yoga thing, I think tomorrow and Saturday maybe. We're at the very back edge of the campground area, so we're against the field. I imagine that this whole thing will be filled up. You can kind of check it out and see how far it actually goes. But I imagine this whole field is going to be filled up by not too long tomorrow. This is the early bird crowd, and the campground goes pretty far over that way. There's a line of fence along this, so this is the edge, and I'm sure there'll be people all the way back here. But you've got porta-johns, you can see some houses like right behind here. So yeah, it's a really expansive campground. This Harvest Moon in itself is a fairly big field if you're camping there. So just make sure that if you are coming here for the first time, bring something to mark your campsite, like a flag or a unique piece of art or something, some lights, especially lights at night, something that will help you navigate your way home, especially after you've been at the shows all evening. So this is going to be Renewal Center Camp, where all your vendors are. It looks like there's plenty of them too, plenty of craft vendors, tchotchke type things that you get at festivals. Plus then there's also food, and you can get all the essentials, ice, everything like that. Security is right there as well, and I'm assuming that medical is probably there too. So that's always a good thing to know at festivals, is where the medical tent is. Definitely on the corner of the center camp is the general store, which has ice and all the different stuff that you're going to need. Actually had camp chairs, because I definitely forgot a camp chair, which is a little bit shitty. Bought one here, so that's cool. But I don't know how stocked it's going to be like once the place gets really busy, so that'll be interesting to see. But definitely convenient. They have everything you need. They have ice, as you can see behind me. So stop at the general store. It was fascinating to me that literally within 4 days, a town forms, a city forms, with all the infrastructure of a regular city that is more than double the size of the nearest actual municipality, the nearest city, Buena Vista. So there's about 7,500 people at Renewal, according to some folks that I've talked to this year, or at least that's what they're capped at selling. And it looks pretty full. It looks like they've sold most of it, because this place really filled up today. The Flower Moon section of camp is incredible. So it basically has campsites that follow the stream and the creek, and you're right up against the water. And so it's tent city in the shade of the trees with like a river running through it, essentially, which is awesome. Everybody who's camping there looks very relaxed and happy. Okay, I have been walking through Flower Moon, and I took the bottom road. So if you're looking at the map, it's the southernmost road, I guess, if the map's oriented correctly. Followed that around. It's quite a walk. Really beautiful campground along a stream. So there's a lot of spots available. If you get here early enough, you can camp in the trees next to a running stream that you can hear in the background. That sounds great. So then I've hit the bridge. If you keep going past this bridge and follow it around, it loops you into the venue. So that's where we're going to go next. If you're coming from Harvest Moon or coming from by the lake, make sure you make the hard left and get in the venue that way, because that's where the line's going to be formed. I went past that, then made a left and went all the way around, which was not the way to go. This is the early entry line for merch. So they're going to open up the venue at about 12:30, supposedly 12:30, so that you can get in and get some merch. The posters are going to go quick. They always do. There's a limited number. On the walk here, I mean, I probably walked a quarter mile. The line's going back a quarter mile right now, and people just come and set up their chairs. So I'm probably not going to get merch early anyway. But you know that, like, we saw people yesterday that already had their chairs set up, and they were clearly at the front of the line. But 24 hours in advance, if you want to get in on that early merch line, know before you go for sure. I just walked up a hill that is right in front of the venue. So if you go through Flower Moon, that's going to take you all the way to the entrance to the venue. Unfortunately, the venue is closed right now. It opens up later. But then you make a sharp right and you go up this little hill. It's not super little, but it's not terrible. And that drops you off into Sturgeon Moon. So Sturgeon Moon is pretty much just a great big field you can see behind me. But this is where there's going to be a lot of RV camping. The larger RVs, I believe, are up here. And then there's car camping, clearly. And I think also ADA camping is up in Sturgeon Moon. There's not a lot of shade up in Sturgeon Moon, but you've got a really nice 360 view of the mountains from up here, ample porta-johns, and the advantage is you're literally right next to the venue. You just go down a hill and you're there. So that's the advantage to Sturgeon Moon, is if you want a very short walk to the venue, and some people do, then I would definitely look at camping in Sturgeon Moon. That's probably a benefit to that. So that was a little bit of a tour of the venue at Cottonwood Meadows. As you can see, just absolutely gorgeous. Just some afterthoughts on that too. So if you are local, if you're driving to the festival, if you go to Renewal next year, I would recommend that you bring some type of a bicycle. I saw a lot of bikes. There was a lot of people on e-bikes. I think I saw 1 or 2 scooters. I usually do a dirt scooter when I go to bigger festivals just to get around faster. But unfortunately, I couldn't take it on the plane with me. So that is one thing to consider, is you're going to be walking a lot. Now, you probably don't want to take whatever vehicle you bring into when you're going to the show to the actual music venue, but just getting around in general, going to center camp, things like that, it is a little bit useful. Next up, so as we went into it, one of the things that they did very well at Renewal was have a big variety of vendors. And we're going to look at a couple of them because I think there's a difference. So when you go to a lot of Billy shows, and in particular, I saw this in Pittsburgh, I've seen this at Legend Valley, there's always the shakedown street where there's the unofficial vendors, the people that are doing their own merch, their own creations, things like that. And then you have the in-venue vendors, the people that are approved, that are buying booth space or whatever that is, tent space at the venue. So we're going to take a look at both of them because I think both of them, I like to buy stuff from each set. So first up, let's meet Jenny. Now, a precursor to this, I've actually bought stuff from Jenny and her company, Homegrown, when I was at K-Fest the last time. I actually have, and you can't see it in the background right now, but I actually have a mandolin that they carved out. So check out her products. I really like what her and her boyfriend are doing.
We started in like 2017. I was actually making jewelry, and my roommate at the time, boyfriend now, he suggested that he could make some little medallions to go on my necklaces, and when he brought them back, they were way cooler than anything I could have imagined. So we were like, well, what about wall art? How big can we make it, you know, any size? So we decided to start making wall art, picked out some designs and stuff that we thought people would enjoy, and it was a hit. So right away people were just really drawn to it and seemed like it was a really easy transition. We already loved going to music festivals, so it was really easy to kind of fall into that. And then once we figured out music festivals specifically were really our niche, then we just kind of ran with that. So we pick our, you know, some of our favorite artists, designs that, you know, kind of timeless designs. Funny things happen. This is our Jerry Buddha.
Jerry Buddha, I love it.
It was a happy accident.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so we stain all of our wood first, and then we'll do our designing, our programming. We'll carve into it afterwards using a CNC router.
Okay.
So we bought our own machine back in 2019.
Wow, that's a big investment.
Yes, it was a big investment, but it's been worth it for sure. So since 2019, we've been making everything like in our own shop, not having to rent space and stuff. So that's been amazing.
So how many festivals do you guys do per season?
The most we've ever done in one season was 93 shows in a year, and that average is about 3 a week. So a lot of those were shakedowns too. So it's set up and breakdown every day, which is really hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But since then, we average probably closer to like 65, 70 shows. That includes like each night that we do too. So it may not necessarily be like 60 individual festivals, but I'd say an average of at least 30 festivals a year. And it's something that we love, so we don't really get tired of it. I feel like you're going to work no matter what you do in life, so you may as well enjoy it.
So I like Jenny a lot. And again, I bought another piece from her there. One thing they did that was really, really cool was that they had their general like pieces, but then there was a few of them that had little hidden Easter eggs like BMFS or a Billy Goat, like somewhere on the guitar neck or something like that. So check them out. They're going to be at a lot of festivals, clearly. But after I met Jenny, I then was walking to the Friday night show to get in line for that. And on the way, I got to meet Tracy and Everett, and this was on Shakedown Street. So let's talk to them. So Tracy and Everett, right?
Yes.
So you guys are big Billy Goats, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How long have you been following Billy?
Since 22.
Since 22? Okay, so pretty early on. What made you want to get into like kind of doing your thing and selling like Billy merch?
Well, okay, so I actually have a cute little story about that. Our first Billy show, after the show, I looked at my husband Everett and I said, hey, what would you say if I told you we should quit our jobs and we should go on Billy tour and sling grilled cheese sandwiches? and Billy Everett looks me right in the eye and says, I think we should get a food truck.
Nice.
So we were both kind of aligned with that idea, and food isn't necessarily something that we want to do because that's what Everett does for a living.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what can we do? What can we do? And I taught myself how to do embroidery, and it just resonated with people. People like it, so I just keep doing it.
That's cool. And that gets you to more Billy shows.
Exactly. And that's really all it does, is that it helps us cover the costs of coming. We're here from St. Augustine.
Okay.
For this visit.
That's a long, I'm Columbus, Ohio. So I get the pilgrimage, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, and this is the first renewal. We wanted to be here for for the last 3 years. So.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations
Yeah.
on mine first too. So,
Yeah, so this year we were like, you know what, we're just gonna do it, and we bought the tickets in July.
That's
and we
awesome.
Just
You
made
bought
everything.
plane tickets before
Plane
you had
tickets first.
Right. Yeah. That's
So-
the expensive part, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I want
So-
to show your stuff. So you make embroidery. So you basically learned how to do this to be able to do this.
I did, yeah.
That's cool. And you got a fanny pack there. That's
yeah,
awesome.
fanny packs, and
Very
these are normally what I would do on a jacket bag.
Okay.
And then
love
I
it.
started doing very beginning started doing embroidery patches.
Yeah.
And this is one of the first ones I did. That's from the show in Austin where
Okay.
Billy said, "Hey guys, I ate one mushroom."
Nice.
And then this is one of my first designs too.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But you can see how the progression, you know.
Yeah, you get better. And this is for the new album.
Right. And I had actually a Chevelle design in mind because I knew Billy had one.
Yeah.
And actually that weekend that Highway Prayers was announced, I actually had a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
And so I stitched it out and got
That's
it all
amazing.
done. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to like figuring out a way to like make a business out of it and like
Yeah.
get to see Billy. And thanks for talking to me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
So Tracy and Everett, I just love their story because you can tell they like are head over heels, like huge fans of Billy Strings. But what an innovative thing to do, right? Like I'm kind of doing this with the Music Festivals podcast. I just wanted to be able to find a way to go to more music festivals. When I left Tracy and Everett, Tracy literally hands me one of the patches, just gave it to me for free. So I really appreciated that. They're just wonderful people. But the next day, I actually went back to Center Camp and wanted to kind of finish the rest of the vendors and check out everything. And I was actually looking for some stuff to get my kids, which if you're buying presents at a festival for people who haven't been there, that can always be a little bit weird because, you know, they're not necessarily, you're not buying something that's going to remind them of the experience or anything like that. I ended up meeting Kelly and learned about her Fun Lovin' Fleece. So check it out.
It's Kelly, yep.
Yeah, and so tell me about Fun Lovin'. This is like a brand that you've developed.
Yeah, so Fun Lovin' Fleecewear was born on the river.
Okay.
For the last 20 years, I've spent my summers guiding multi-day river trips across the West.
Oh, that's cool.
And I wanted to create functional clothing to be worn outside.
Yeah.
And, you know, just, wanted to wear fun prints and wear functional clothing that was affordable as
That's
well.
cool. So how did you get into were you river guide or tell me about that?
Yep, I've been guiding for 20 years. I got started here on the Arkansas River in Buena Vista, Colorado, which is the reason why I came back for this festival.
That's awesome.
I spent 4 summers guiding river trips and still guiding in other places, but it's, you know, it's my love for the river and love for this place that brought me back to Renewal Festival.
Buena Vista is beautiful. Like it's unbelievable. Are you a Billy fan?
I'm a huge Billy fan.
Okay, so
and I've gotten to go to a few shows, but this is the first one that I've vended at.
Yeah.
And it's been a really awesome scene, and I'm stoked to be a part of this festival.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So the big news is that there's going to be a Baby Strings very, very soon. We don't know if it's happened.
Yeah.
What do you say to Billy and Allie?
Congratulations, Billy and Allie. We're so psyched for you. We definitely miss you here in BV, but we are so psyched for you and excited to see your family grow.
So that was Saturday. We had found out the night prior that Billy and Allie were going into labor together, and Billy left the festival and whatnot. But I just thought that was interesting. Some of the video that you saw there too was from the actual Thursday night. I tend to mix and match my B-roll, but I wanted to show the Thursday night concerts, and then there was an album release party. But there was so many people that came to that first event of the festival. I just thought it was really, really interesting. But lots of great vendors, and you'll see some more videos of other folks that I didn't put on the news program, but they'll be on the playlist on YouTube. So make sure that you go back to Music Festivals Podcast on YouTube. That's just at Music Festivals Podcast, and look for the Cottonwood Meadows playlist. That's where I'm going to collect all the different videos, the shorts, the things that came from that. One of the things at this festival that also fascinated me, and it seems like it's a trend recently, is there's always some type of yoga or Pilates or something that's happening at festivals. And I've seen yoga at festivals, and it's usually, 10, 15, 20 people, but not at Billy Strings Renewal. You gotta see the yoga stage. This happened at 11 a.m. Friday and Saturday, and take a look. So yeah, thank you for doing this. What's your names?
I'm Ann.
Ann?
I'm Erin.
Aaron, it's good to meet you guys. You just did the yoga, the 11 o'clock yoga at Billy Strings Renewal. So do you guys both do yoga regularly?
Yes.
Okay. What'd you think of this?
It's freaking great. Yeah, it's so fun to be in such a massive group. Everyone together, good vibes. It's
Does that
awesome.
like change the energy of it?
Totally. It's way different than like a class at home when there's like 10, 15 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, is this your first renewal or have you been to this?
No, third.
Second? Third? Okay. What's your favorite thing about this particular festival?
The trees are freaking beautiful.
Yeah, the people are awesome. Yesterday driving in, my kids were like, everyone's just so nice here.
Yeah.
It's great
Can you bring your
vibes.
family?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Which may or may not be great judgment at all times.
It's totally different. No, well, I'm glad you guys had good yoga.
Yeah.
If people want to do yoga, I always wanted to try yoga. It's intimidating.
Yeah.
What do you say about coming into a festival and trying it for the first time?
It's probably the best environment you could try it out in because
Absolutely.
you've got all levels of people.
Nobody's looking at you. Nobody
Yeah.
gives a shit what you're doing.
Some people are just laying in the sun, relaxing and taking in the vibes. So would be a great place to try it for the
That's
first
awesome.
time.
Thank you both so much. Have a great
Yeah,
day.
thank you so much.
Yeah, the yoga it was just impressive to see all those people. Clint, who you saw last week, who was my neighbor, they all went and did yoga. And Clint even said, I'm not a yoga person. I don't do yoga at home, but I'm at a festival. Why the hell not? I did not go and do yoga. At some point I will make a commitment to that. What I did do though, what I really, really enjoy is checking out campfire jams, particularly at bluegrass festivals, because there's just so many great musicians that are floating around seeing the show, but they also play. So I walked around Sturgeon Moon and found a bunch of jam sessions, and here's some of those.
Well, now she's gone. What do I do? It's too late to start anew. And true love is hard to find. Darling, you turn back the time. Well, these old blues, they've got me down. This is my sweet thing, she ain't around. I'm as blue as I can be. I'm just as blue as the deep blue sea.
For some reason, I fucking, you know what? Someone else call one. I'm gonna have some quality time with my instrument for a second. What's going on?
Come on.
I wonder if it's raining in the mountains. I wonder how the old town looks today. And if the church there's still by the river, did I go back and find where Mama lay? Is life still good just after sunset? Are the berries still as big on the vine? There's an old man you talk about the old days, the way they did in 1949. Oh, 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 how I'd like to be back in the hills of Tennessee. Oh, 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 that would be so fine if I could just go back to 1949.
So that last gal on the solo is Miss Amy. And I got to talking to her when we were at the jam session. She's a hell of a musician, and definitely like knows how to lead a jam. I'm very curious to find out like the etiquette of the jam and like how that all works. Miss Amy's going to be a guest on the show here in just a few weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. You can check out her band, Miss Amy and the Jet Set, at missamyandthejetset.com, JETSET.com. I'm excited to learn about their music. She definitely is a hell of a good mandolin player and has a great voice. But everybody in that circle, and if you are listening to the audio, you really need to go check out the video, because as they're sitting there jamming around, you'll realize that everybody's wearing different animal costumes. The guy who was on the fiddle was in a narwhal costume. So how often do you get to see a narwhal jamming on the fiddle at a bluegrass jam, right? That was worth it in itself. But really, really enjoyed getting to hang out with that whole crowd. It was one of the better jams that I went to all weekend. So next up, we actually have to show some of the concert. And again, Billy was not at Renewal very, very long, but this is one of the question and answer session responses that I just thought was really interesting, because Billy's a very heartfelt guy, right? Like he gets in and there's always a why for whatever he's writing or whatever he's doing. So check out the story behind one of his new songs on the album, Highway Prayers.
I believe in you. And it was just at a time where somebody who I love dearly was struggling with alcohol, and at the time their family was really being torn apart. And I wanted to write a song for that person that, I don't know, was empathetic, I guess, because we're all in our own little trips and we all struggle and none of us are perfect and we all fuck up, and and it really, all it takes sometimes is just to know that there's somebody there that believes in you, So I think friends are the most important thing, and family, and just knowing that you are loved and appreciated, even if you do struggle, or even if you have a hard time of it sometimes. It's not always going to be like that too, and but you got to work hard, to get past that shit. Yeah.
So it was shortly thereafter that Billy actually left the festival to go see the birth of his kid, which is exactly where he should have been. But super insightful, reason for writing a song. I think we all go through that. Billy's been through his own struggles. I've been through struggles. Everybody has, right? It's part of human and being human and living a life. But that was a really interesting one. That's going to wrap us up for this week. Like I said, there's many, many more videos. You can go to the YouTube channel to see those on the playlist and keep a lookout. I'm going to keep those coming out almost on a daily basis. You'll also see some more videos from Lazy Jam 2024 that I've got on backlog. And then next week, again, I'm going to K-Fest on Sunday. So there'll be an episode on K-Fest with some recap videos from there. Again, I'm very excited, and thanks to Todd and those guys down at the Caverns for giving me the permission and the privilege to actually, get a little bit behind the scenes and get some better video footage out of that. So thanks for that. First time I've had media credentials, I guess, at a larger festival. So that's pretty exciting. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. I didn't look at the subscriber count this week, but I know it's between Facebook and YouTube. It's approaching 1,000, if not over 1,000. So that's super cool. And I'm going to keep it coming. The neighborhood just keeps growing and growing. I'm going to wrap up season 1 of this. Little housekeeping note. So at the end of November is going to be the end of season 1. I'm going to take the month of December off to kind of do some prep, some backlog stuff, and then also enjoy the holidays with my family. Season 2 starts in January. I am on the fence as to whether I may be able to get to some of the winter festivals this year. I'd love to do on-site coverage at a ski festival, particularly Winter Wondergrass. That one just looks amazing. And I'm also going to open up a call for season 2 sponsors. So I think I'm to the point now where if you do like this content and you want to be a supporter of it, and get your name out there as I keep growing the audience, please contact me, neighbor Nate at musicfestivalspodcast.com. That's N8. I'd love to talk with you. If you're not doing that, make sure to subscribe and rate the show on the networks that you listen to it. Music Festivals Podcast is a production of NR Media Group, and I am your host, Neighbor Nate. Hope to be your neighbor at the next festival, maybe at K-Fest. Maybe I'll see you down there. I do want to leave you with one more video. And so again, at Renewal, Billy wasn't there. And so they pulled together the Renewal Family Band literally within 24 hours. And I mean, there were heavy hitters: Jerry Douglas, Molly Tuttle, Kyle Tuttle, Mountain Grass Unit, all kinds of musicians up on stage, Larry Keel. I just thought this was an amazing video. Hopefully I don't get dinged for copyright on it, but we'll go ahead and leave you with the Renewal Family Band.
Folks, you know it takes a big old damn family to make something like this happen, and the circle is getting bigger. So let's keep it that way, huh? Please drive slow for that body that you're holding. Lord, I hate to see her go. Will the circle be unbroken?